This is EB3 speaking the truth in love. I just come on for a few minutes to give you guys a word of encouragement. You know, oftentimes when you're young, and I'm a little bit older now, but when you're young, you have dreams and aspirations. Um, you feel like there's something that you just know that you're supposed to do. And if you share your dreams and your aspirations to people, they may not understand uh, because it may be different from what maybe everybody else in your family has done. Your parents have planned for you. But I just want to come on to encourage you guys. If you really and truly believe that you're meant to do something different from everybody else that's around you, you see something out there that's, I say, just different, go for it. But before you go for it, especially if you belong to Christ, if you've given your life to Christ, seek God. Don't worry about everybody else's opinion, but seek God and make sure it's not something that will dishonor God. We have to be careful because success is different for everyone. And what I mean by that, what I may find as successful, you may not find that successful. You may want more than I do or less than I do, and feel accomplished and success. So find out what it is that you as an individual see as success. Find out if what you're trying to do honors or dishonors your parents. Because your parents don't necessarily have to agree with everything you do, but we are to, as children, because all of us, regardless of how old you are, have parents. We are, according to the Word of God, we are supposed to honor our father and mother. And honoring your father and mother is not just saying yes ma'am, no ma'am, but it's also living a life that honors. You know, if your meaning of success is to go out there and sell drugs and become a millionaire, that is not honoring your parents. And I guess that could be controversial because if you come from a family that's their business, maybe if you put aside the spiritual aspect of it, maybe that is successful. But if you come from a set of parents, a family who, for the most part, as imperfect as they may be, truly wants to honor God, honoring your parents is part of what it's supposed to be. Now, you have to keep in mind that when you have, let's say, for instance, if you come from a family that, and this is not to put anybody down. This is not to put anybody down because I believe that everybody have a choice, and your choices or your choices. The only person you really and truly have to please is God, but you do have to honor your parents because that's part of pleasing God. Okay? Now, let's go back. Let's just say you come from a family and the only thing they've ever done is worked in grocery stores, worked in even small businesses, maybe house cleaning or whatever, you know. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with those jobs. I want to put that out there first. But if you are the first person who wants to go to college or who wants to take up a trade, there is nothing wrong with that. If you are the first person, and there's a lot of talented people that can sing, that can act, that can do all these different things, but nobody else in your family has pursued those things, then there's nothing wrong with you pursuing it. Again, the only thing you have to do, and you should consider, is whether it pleases God. You can be an actor, you can be a social media entrepreneur, you can be a singer, a writer, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, you can be the president of the United States, you can be a senator. There's no limit to the things that you can be. You just have to make up in your mind to go for what it is that you really want to do. And the sooner you do that, the better. Because where it may take one person to 4 years, it may take somebody else 12 years. So the sooner you start, the better. And you don't have to share all your hopes and your dreams with everybody that's around you, because there's always going to be more people that tells you you can't versus the people who tell you you can. And it's not necessarily that they're hating on you, is that they really mean it in a sincere way a lot of times. It's because those things are unknown to them. Those things are afar off, because they don't know anybody in their situation that's ever done it. So when you're dealing with those kind of people, don't get so aggravated that you don't want to ever have anything else to do with them. But just go do what you know you got to do. That means you got to work hard. You might have to make some sacrifices. You might have to work 2 or 3 jobs until you get there, but and you may be on a good paying job that you got to quit in order to pursue it with all your might and with all your consciousness. You may have to just say, Lord, if this is your will for my life, show me how to do it. I always say there is nothing that you can't do. It may take you as an individual a little bit longer than somebody else, but you can do it. Go for it, but just always keep God first in your life. Anything you do, anything you go after, just make sure that you don't make that thing, whether it's a career, whether it's someone you love, whether it's your own business, whatever it is that you're trying to do and that you feel like makes you have a successful life, even just the ideal of it. We just have to be careful as people, especially people of God, to make sure that we do not allow those things to be an idol in our life. In other words, a little God in our life. But other than that, go for it. If God be pleased with you going forward, I say go for it. And don't give up until you come to that place where you find yourself doing exactly what the Lord, especially if you know the Lord has showed you what the Lord has showed you. It's going to be some bumps in the road. It's going to be some times when you're going to want to give up. It's going to be some times when you're going to hear all the naysayers. But if God has that purpose for you, it'll happen. So I just want you to be encouraged. Stay in the faith. Stay in the faith. And keep moving toward the goals that will make you ultimately closer to God, make you be an example of what can happen for you if you trust in God. And everywhere you go, everything you do, always realize that if it had not been for the Lord on your side, you wouldn't make it. Okay? This has been EB3, speaking the truth in love. Be blessed. Again, stay in the faith. And I'm out.